What's up, and welcome back to another video on the YouTube channel. In today's video, we're going to be going over the World Championship predictions. This is coming up on Wednesday. As I'm recording this, it is Monday, so I have about a day to get this out to see, whatever. Anyways, this is the wild card stage. If you don't know, these are the teams that haven't technically made the World Championship fully, but they're basically there. And, obviously, we only have 8 teams going through here, so this is going to be where a lot of people want to try to make it through as the best they can. Obviously, if they get through here, they go to the group stage and then on to playoffs after that. Anyways, with that being said, let's get into the predictions. So, we have some very heavy hitter teams right here. Obviously we have Moist, who did look pretty good last major. Complexity, that did okay last major, but still has been looking pretty good. We have SSG, that looks okay. Power, which looked okay. Twisted Minds, which has done pretty good in their own region. You have G2, which is, always a pretty consistent team. Falcons and Elevate being the only team that, well, not really the only team, but a team that looked very, very consistent against Vitality, the major winners. Sorta. They looked okay. They took a game, but that's about it. Anyways, let's get into the predictions. First of all, we have Complexity versus Valiant. I think that's how you say the name. I'm sorry if not. This is the French class team from the SSA region. I gotta be real with you here. I don't think that they're gonna take this at all. I'm saying a perfect sweep here. Not a perfect sweep. I think they may get a couple goals, but honestly, I think that one French player isn't really gonna clutch it out for this team, if I have to say so. G2 versus Limitless, same thing here. I think this is also going to go in actually, no, I'll give this a 4-1. I think G2 may start off a little slowly, but I think Limitless will look okay. And, I think Limitless are the better team of this region, without a doubt. Um, but, there's a lot of. It's against G2. Let's be real. G2 has been such a consistent team for such a long time. They may start off a little slow, give Limitless a game, maybe like a 1 goal game, but I think they'll take it after that. Moist versus Gaming Gladiators. I'm not sure what's happening with Gaming Gladiators as I'm recording this. They apparently dropped LCT in right before World Championship happens. However, I'm not sure if he's still going to be playing or not because I saw something the other day where he says he's going to World, so I don't really know what's exactly happening. We'll find out, I guess, on Wednesday whether he's playing or not. We'll find out. But with that being said, I also think Moist is going to take this. You know, I got to be real with you. Moist have looked okay, actually. I think they've looked pretty good on LAN. I think they're going to look even better here at the World Championship. They've had time to grind. They've had the LAN experience with this roster currently, so they know exactly how to perform on LAN. They just now need to implement the amount of skill they have onto their LAN performance. Gaming Gladiators, I think they'll take a game maybe. Moist may start off slow or just give up a random game, but I think Moist will take it. Pioneers versus Twisted Minds. I've seen a lot of predictions here where Pioneers is going to take it, and a lot of understandable predictions of why people think Pioneers is going to take it. They got a LAN experience, whereas Twisted Minds doesn't, except for Zenzo. However, I think Twisted Minds are a better team. I think Mina is one of those teams where they come out on LAN and they just don't have fear. Rule 1, we just saw them get top 4 at their first major in the spring. They look very impressive. You had Falcons not on their debut LAN, however, but you know they got second place at the spring major of last season. Their first ever debut LAN, they swept G2, which was at the time a very, very good team. So MENA teams do have a big thing of coming up and showing off their debut LAN, and I think Twisted Minds is going to continue with that. I think Pioneers will keep it a little bit closer, but I think Pioneers may just have little more inconsistency than Twisted Minds. That's just my predictions. Who knows? Maybe they'll just show up and destroy Twisted Minds. We'll see. Who knows? Next up is Crew versus G1. This is a bit of an interesting one as well. I think both these teams definitely have the capability of winning this one. I don't know who exactly who's on G1 because, I haven't kept up with this roster at all. But, I still think that Crew may get the upset here. In game 7, I'm saying Crew, they've had the past couple of major LAN experiences. They've looked really good in all of them, despite going out pretty early, I think, in both. But they've looked really, really good, and I think they definitely have potential to step it up here at the World Championship. G1, a team that has looked very inconsistent recently after dropping mark by 8, I believe. Um, yeah, they just haven't looked where they needed to be at all, and I think that's going to continue to show up here. I think they'll keep it close, but I think Crew will ultimately take it in the end. SSG versus Secret. This is an interesting one as well. I believe Secret has upset SSG before last season. However, I think this is a bit different. Secret, new roster. SSG, very different roster. And SSG has looked pretty good. Despite going out early in the spring major, they have looked really, really good in their region. They've played very well. I think they are only going to improve as time goes on. I think this team can be one of the best teams in North America, if not in the world. And, I think I have them going through into game 6. I think SSG will take it. I think Secret could upset here. I can definitely see a Secret upset if they show up because they have done it before on multiple teams, which were favorites to win. But they haven't been very consistent to me recently. They've been going down a lot, not as dominant in the region, not as competitive as a team like they used to be. That's just my personal opinion. This may change. It's a world championship. They may show up here and just look amazing. Power versus Oxygen. I'm also going to give this one an upside here. Power did kind of impress me in the last major, despite going out in lower round 2. They did impress me enough. I think they have full capabilities of upsetting Oxygen here. Oxygen have yet to impress me. They got rid of I can't remember who it was. I don't know who I'm thinking of right now. They got rid of one of their star players, and it just went down entirely for them. Rise was, I think, who I'm thinking of. He left this roster, and they just didn't look the same since. So this team can win. They have a lot of stuff. They are the loser. They are the people that you're expected to win this. If you lose, that's an upset. But I think the upset could happen. Power can do it. Game 7. Who knows? It's if Power shows up or not. Elevate versus Team Falcons. I've also seen this one go on an upset as well. Elevate over Falcons. However, I don't think that's going to be what's going to happen. I think Falcons will take it. I think they'll be fairly mad that they have not been impressing a lot of people recently. They've missed their first LAN. They just haven't been looking that great in the region overall. They feel like they've been slowing down a lot, and I think they need to step it back up. And I think they will, right here. Round 2. I gotta speed this up because this is gonna be a very long video if I keep talking thoroughly. Complexity versus Power. I gotta be real with you here. Complexity, I think they're a dominant team. I think this could possibly go on a sweep, if not a 4-1, maybe. Who knows? I think this is either going to be a sweep or 4-1 in favor of Complexity. I don't see Power winning this at all unless Complexity just managed to throw entirely. I just don't see it happening. G2 versus Crew, same thing here. I think Crew are a good team, but I think G2 are that much better. I think they're going to be fired up and ready for this. They've missed, I think, the past 2 lands. If not, I know they missed the spring major. I'm not sure if they missed the winter, but they're going to be fired up. They're ready to get back on land. They want to perform. Moist versus Twisted Minds. I want to give Twisted Minds the upside here, but I just don't see it happening. I think Twisted Minds will keep it close, Game 7, but I think Moist will have that clutch factor in the end. I think they can do that because they're just that good of a team. Obviously, they have experience on land, whereas Twisted Mind doesn't. And unlike Pioneers, I think Moist are one of those better teams of this tournament. So I definitely see them making it through. SSG versus Falcons. This is an interesting one here as well. Um, I'm actually gonna give this one an upset. I guess I'm gonna give this one to Falcons. I think SSG kind of they're always in that favorites factor, but they kind of give it up in the end for some reason, and I think that's gonna happen here. I think SSG will look competitive. I think it'll be closer than the scoreline says, but I think Falcons are fired up. They're ready to win. They're ready to go and take him down. Oxygen Valiant. I think they'll get a game maybe, but I think Oxygen are a good enough team to be able to take this. I would think. G1 Gaming Gladiators. Same thing here. I think G1 are a good team, despite not knowing who's on the roster. But I think in terms of Gaming Gladiators, they never perform in LAN. APAC just doesn't perform in LAN. Elevate is their best opportunity, and they have just not done much. And yeah, I just don't see it happening. Limitless Pioneers, same thing here. I think this may go on a sweep. Yeah, I see that. Limitless don't get a game. Pioneers, pretty good. I think they'll take it. They have better lane experience. They know what they need to do. I see it happening. Elevate versus Secret. This is an interesting one here. Elevate could take this. Secret could take it. I think it all comes down to how Secret performs. If they perform, they're gonna win. If they don't perform, Elevate wins. And in fact, I'm actually gonna give the upset here to Elevate in a game 7. I want to see something go down. I think it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna shock a lot of people, and I want to see that at LAN. I definitely want to see that at Worlds. Secret being one of the teams that a lot of people see as like a strong team out of their region, just not performing, and an upset over Elevate would, an upset for Elevate would, be very good for the region, very good for this land. It would give some excitement, some hype, and I'm ready to see it. Round 3, Complexity versus Falcons. I think Complexity will take it. Complexity impressed me. They're one of my favorite teams out of North America. I think they have one of the best odds to go far in this tournament, especially coming from wildcard stage. I think they're the best team here. That's why they are first seed. But that all comes down to, if they stand up, if they play, they perform like they need to be. Yeah. Moist versus G2. I'm actually going to give this one to Moist. I think Moist, once they get going, they can destroy. And G2 are one of those teams where it's like, to me, they just don't perform against a team like Moist. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but they just don't perform against teams like these. And Moist, I think, if they had that confidence factor and they know that G2 doesn't like playing them, they're going to have that confidence. They're going to go in there and they're going to, clean up very fast. This is the middle matches, 1-1 record. This is Twisted Minds versus Elevate. I actually, I'm gonna give an upset here too. I think Elevate will upset here and make a huge run. They'll lose the first one to Falcons, but they'll upset Secret. They'll upset Twisted Minds. We got to get some shock factor in here. I want to see something hype happen in this tournament. Having major upsets like Elevate going forward would be insane, and I would love to see it. I definitely want to see that happen, but who knows? SSG versus G1. Surprisingly, the AI percentage says that G1 are the favorites here, which I didn't think was true. I don't think it's true, but that's the AI. Who knows? I still think that SSG will take it. SSG, pretty dominant team. I think they'll do very well. I think they'll loss to Falcons will kind of boost them and push them a little bit further, make them want to go, get better and win and qualify. Oxygen versus Crew. I believe Oxygen will impress here. I see it happening. Game 7, but I think Oxygen will clutch it up in the end and take it. Power versus Pioneers. An interesting one here. We have OCE versus OCE, the two OCE teams. This is a weird one. I want to give this one to, well, AI says Power should win this. I think I'm going to give it to Pioneers. And like game 6. I don't know. I just see it happening. I feel like Power, one of those teams that can start off very strong. You have a lot of confidence with them going into, the next couple of games, and they just lose it all. They just can't perform. And I think that's what's going to happen here. I think Pioneers will get off that stupid Limitless and be ready to go. Secret Valiant, yeah, same thing here. I think Secret should take it. They don't, that would be a major upset. First SSA win on LAN, I believe, except for last Worlds. I believe they won once and that's it. But still, Limitless versus Gaming Gladiators. Limitless are actually expected to win this, and I'm actually going to give it to them in a game 7. I think right now, Gaming Gladiators are like a really confusing team. I'm not sure why they keep dropping their roster right before Worlds, and I think that like is gonna kind of confuse the players on Gaming Gladiators and make them not as focused as they should be, and make them go out here. Limitless will get the win. So congrats to that if that happens. G2 versus Elevate. I will love to see Elevate win this, but I just don't think it's gonna happen. I think G2 will come back to form. Falcons versus Oxygen. I think Falcons will take that one. Mina usually steps up. I think they'll do it again. Pioneers versus SSG. Same thing here. think Pioneers are a good team, but I just don't see them beating SSG. They're a way better team. That's just my personal opinion, though. Twisted Minds versus Limitless. I would be in shock if Twisted Minds lose this. I think they are a better team, and I think they'll take it. I can see it happening, but who knows? Anything can happen on land. Crew versus Secret. Uh, Crazy teams right here. I'm actually gonna give this one to Secret. I think they will take it, which sucks because Crew start off really strong, get a supposed upset in terms of AI percentage over G1, and then lose back to back to back, and go out, which sucks. But I think Secret will show up here. G1 versus Power. I think G1 are gonna take it as well in like game 7. I see that happening. And finally, the last uh matchups for the wild card stage: Pioneers versus Secret. Wow, that's interesting. Um, okay, I'm gonna give this one to Secret. I think they'll show up here and they'll reverse sweep the bracket. I want to see a reverse sweep. I think it can happen. I want to see it. I think it'd be so cool. Oxygen versus Twisted Minds. I think Twisted Minds are gonna come all this way just to lose to Oxygen, which sucks, but I think that's what's gonna happen. Elevate versus G1. This is an interesting one. I guess Elevate, anything Elevate would be an upside here, and I think I'm gonna have them going through because why not? Get some randomness in here. That's what I want. So with that being said, here are the results, the matchup. Obviously, Moist and Complexity, I would say arguably the two better teams of this wildcard stage, go 3-0. Space Station, G2, and Falcons go 3-1. Secret, Oxygen, Elevate getting some crazy matchups, going 3-2. And then we get rid of teams like Twisted Minds, Pioneers, G1 Crew, Power, Limitless, all of them. So, with that being said, those top 8 teams will go on to the group stage where they face the current 8 teams that are waiting for them there. And yeah. Now, first matchup, Carmine versus Elevate. Really, really, really unfortunate. I don't even see a game being dropped by Carmine there. In fact, I think this could end up in a possible perfect sweep or maybe close to it. If Carmine step up, I think they can allow it to where no goals are scored. I think they will destroy Elevate. No offense to Elevate or anything. I think they're a good team, but Carmine are just that good. BDS versus Moist here. This is an interesting one. I just realized, if this matchup goes the way it does, Moist, BDS, and Carmine, you have the original Moist roster of Joyo, Rise, and Vatira all possibly facing each other, except one, because one won't face the other, unless Elevate managed to get a major upset. So, here's that. I think BDS should take this one, though. I think BDS, they've impressed me at the last spring major. They got second, even though they got bracket reset and then lost the bracket reset. But, they have impressed me, and I think they will only get better. Liquid versus Falcons. Same thing here. Maybe a 4-1. Falcons, they haven't impressed me too much, and Liquid are only going to get better. They have been at a peak for a long time, and they don't look like they're slowing down anytime soon. I can see them definitely winning. Next up is SSG versus NIP. This is an interesting one. I think NIP did perform fairly well at the spring major. They took down Furia, which was, big for them. And, it's cool or whatever. I think SSG will be the only team that came from wildcard stage that will upset on this side at least. Upper semifinals for the first side. You have Carmine versus BDS. Just with AI, am going to give an upset here, and I think BDS will take them down. Because why not? I just see it happening. And I think BDS are a good enough team. I think they can stand up to be one of the best teams of their region. They already basically are, but I think they can compete with teams like Vitality and Carmine and be called one of the best teams of their region, if not the best. Liquid versus SSG. I think Liquid will take this one down fairly easily. I think Liquid are just that good of a team. EU dominance is pretty clear in this, and I just see it happening. Moist versus Elevate. I love Elevate. They came really far. They got some major upsets to get to wild card if this happens, and they made it to groups, but they're gonna go out with maybe a game. There's not much more to talk about that one. Falcons versus NIP. Another sad one to say, but I think Falcons will take this one. Nip sadly are gonna be going home, losing both of their only games. So sad, but it happens. God, dude, this is going to suck. Moist versus SSG. This is an interesting one, I gotta say. Moist are favored to win this in terms of AI percentage, but I gotta go with a little bit of NA hope here. This is the only NA team over here, by the way. I gotta go with a little bit of NA hope, and I gotta say they'll take them down in Game 7. So, God, Space Station, do me well here. Or they can upset Liquid and, be fine. But still, Carmine versus Falcons. Yeah, I gotta be real with you. Falcons don't impress me that much. They're a good team, but I think Carmine are just that much better. That's just me, though. Upper quarterfinals on the second side, Gen.G versus Oxygen. I'm gonna give this one to Gen.G. They should win this. I hope they would win this, but who knows. Rule 1 versus Complexity. AI actually favors Rule 1 here, but I'm gonna give this one to Complexity. Rule 1 did win this match last time in the Spring Major, but I think Complexity will, have that little anger up. They'll be, ready to go, ready to face Rule 1. They know how they play now and how to face them, how to win against them, and I think they will do that without a doubt. Vitality versus Secret. This is the most dominant percentage I think we have seen yet, 96 to 4%, which is crazy, and I don't see it being wrong. I think Vitality will possibly sweep this. FaZe versus G2. I'm gonna give this one. Actually, I think it'll be a lot closer than scoreline says, but I think FaZe will take it. They should take it. I would hope they would take it, but honestly, who knows at this point? To be fair. Upper semifinals, you have Gen.G versus Complexity. This is one of the closest percentages, 51 to 49. Crazy, almost half and half. It almost goes either way. I do think that Gen.G could show up here. I'm hoping they get the BDS run because I love Gen.G, where they won the fall major. They don't do too well in the next two majors, but then they come back and win the world championship exactly like BDS did last season. I think they could do that, but I think it won't be right now. They're not making it to the playoffs exactly. Complexity will clutch it up right there. Vitality versus FaZe. I think Vitality are just that good of a team. FaZe, really good team, but I think Vitality they got the land experience now. They're going to be dominant. You really have to show up against Vitality if you're going to win now. They have confidence. They know what they need to do to win. They aren't going to be as nervous as they were at the Spring Major. Zin's debut. He knows exactly how land works now. He's going to play at his all-time best. He's going to perform. I can guarantee it. Rule 1 versus Oxygen. I think this is going to be close, actually. I think it's going to go to Game 7. I think Oxygen are going to surprise a lot of people with how good they're playing. And, it won't be enough, but I think they'll impress people. I think Rule 1 will ultimately take it down. Secret versus G2. It would be crazy to see G2 go out here. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think, it would be pretty interesting, pretty crazy surprise if that happened. FaZe versus Rule 1. I I like FaZe. I like Rule 1. I want to see them both perform. I think FaZe will take it though. Rule 1 are a really good team, and I think they have full capabilities of upsetting here if they don't upset Complexity. But it all comes down to, who plays better. Gen.G versus G2. If Gen.G doesn't show up here, I think G2 can take this, but I think Gen.G will, keep it close, but I think they will clutch it up in the end to just get that edge just over G2. And with that being said, our 8 teams going to playoffs will be Team BDS, Team Complexity, Team Liquid, Team Vitality, Space Station Gaming, FaZe Clan, Carmine Corp, and Gen.G Mobile 1 Racing. And a lot of really good teams that get eliminated here. So, with that being said, here it is. This is the final 8 teams. These are 8 best teams in the world, sorta, I guess. And, which is crazy to think that if these results go this way, after all the thing of saying EU dominance, it's going to be 4-on-4 NA versus EU. Every single match is NA versus EU, unless 2 NAs win from one side. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the final predictions. Genji versus BDS. Genji are going to start it off strong with one game and then lose four more consistently. Genji do not impress me anymore like they did in the fall. People know what to expect from them, and they aren't showing up. I think they could, but they haven't impressed me that much, to be fair. FaZe versus Liquid. I think FaZe is, our NA clutch factor. I see it happening. I think they're going to keep it close. I think FaZe will clutch it up, and they will come and take the win. Against Liquid, at least. Complexity versus Carmine Corp. I like Complexity. I think it will be close, but I think Carmine will clutch it up and take it in the end. Vitality SSG. I don't see an upset happening there. To be fair, it's the lowest percentage on here. I don't see it happening. These are your reigning land champions, and they're coming back to get the back to back. So yeah, BDS versus FaZe. EU versus NA's last hope, and I don't think it's gonna go the way people want it. I think, actually, you know what? No. We're gonna give NA some hopium. They're gonna clutch it up and take it against BDS. BDS have to go back to back. FaZe Clan stop them in their tracks. They're gonna be NA's last hope, and which will, if they do win that, mean that it will be an NA versus EU final, which would be crazy. Vitality versus Carmine. I think Vitality will look dominant there. FaZe Clan versus Vitality. This is for the World Championship. FaZe, they've come, their best performance was second place. They look to improve that at the World Championship. Vitality look to do the craziest run of all time. Zen's debut, where he does not lose at all. That would be pretty nuts if that happens. He went perfect in his region. He came out and won his first ever major, first ever lane debut. He won, and then he's coming back a month later to possibly get the back to back on LAN to do it, and I think he will. I think Vitality will take this and become your world champions, meaning that they will be the first ever two-time world champions under the org. So, I've seen a lot of predictions like these, and I think it's going to happen. I definitely see it. Without further ado, I don't know why I said that. It's the end of the video. If you agree with my predictions, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, tell me what you would change if you do, or who do you think you have winning? What are some upsets that I had that maybe you don't have, or what are some upsets that I don't have that maybe you had? Who do you think is going to make a deep run here? And anyways, yeah, like, subscribe, turn on push notifications. It really helps me out, and I will see you next time.